It's time for ROTD Weekend. My guest today is my friend and amazing pastry chef, Jenni Field. And I've had her on the show several times, so you're probably familiar with Jenni. This is a brand new conversation. And I don't usually start the show talking about the guest, except that really what I was planning to talk about when I first spoke with Jenni changed over the last few weeks. So when I first spoke with Jenni and recorded the interview, I was super psyched. She's got these amazing changes going on with her, and I have new things that I'm into, that I'm doing. And I was just like, oh yeah, when I start that episode, I'm going to talk about how we change and grow and we can do all these things no matter what age we are or where we are in our careers or what we're doing in life. There's always like exciting things coming. And so that is what I thought I'd be talking about. And I'm not going to say that I'm not feeling that exactly. I definitely am. In my conversation with Jenni, I talk about, the improv that I've been doing. I have a show coming up next week. If you are in the Central Florida area, definitely come and see. It is on Tuesday, December 16th at 7 p.m. And I'll put a link in the show notes to where you can get tickets for that. So yeah, there are lots of exciting things going on, but I have to tell you, I am tired. We went to Miami for Thanksgiving, and when we got back, I threw my back out. Just this weird thing that happens to me like once a year. Well, it happened, and I was hobbling around. I didn't want to cook. I didn't want to empty the dishwasher. Sitting at my desk hurt. I spent a lot of days kind of laying on my bed, working from bed, just going to bed early. And I don't know, got kind of like behind on all the things that I need to be doing right now. So, kind of feeling overwhelmed and like, how am I gonna do all this stuff? You know what? I'm actually heading to Canada for a few days to see my family just on my own, to have a quick visit right before Christmas. So there's just a lot going on, and I feel really, really behind and really, really overwhelmed. And so trying to like authentically talk on here about, evolutions and change and exciting things on the horizon just feels really, really false, even if it is something that I believe in, So instead, I think I'm going to spend a minute talking about my December resolution, not a New Year's Eve resolution. I really mean a December resolution. And you know what? All it is going to be is going for a walk every day and drinking some water. And I'm going to tell you why. It is because when my back was thrown out, like I'm in pain, my back's sore, I'm hobbling around, I didn't go to the gym, I didn't go for my walks, and I really feel like those are the things that keep the rest of me motivated to do those healthier choices for myself. If I'm going to the gym in the morning, I'm drinking a big water while I'm there, I get back, I make myself something healthy to eat for breakfast, and it all kind of continues. I'm a little bit tired at the end of the day because I had the exertion, I go to bed earlier, I have a good sleep, like all of that is all together in a beautiful package that keeps it all going, right? And so to have that week right after Miami where, we're away, things were kind of busy, we get back, now I'm out of commission, didn't do any of that stuff. Not only did I not go to the gym and not go for walks, I also didn't drink very much water, I didn't eat very healthy, I skipped breakfast, wait until 2 o'clock in the afternoon to eat something, all the crazy stuff that can happen when you're just off your routine. So my December resolution is to just go for a short walk every day and drink some water. And I am pretty sure, the hope is that that will spur on a lot of the rest of the things that make me feel good. But even if not, if I can just do those things, I will be in a better position as I fully heal and move into New Year's, when maybe I will make a New Year's resolution. I don't know yet. But yeah, for now, I am going to do all the visiting with family and friends and Christmas shopping and cooking and the things that I am committed to do. And in addition, I'm going to go for walks and I'm going to drink water. Okay, so that is my truth right now. And if you are with me, if you're under the weather, if you've been tired, overwhelmed, feel free to join me in my December resolution or not. There is zero pressure on this one. We are just getting through this month right now. If, on the other hand, you are feeling inspired and excited or want to feel inspired and excited, and you know what? I'm going to say, as much as I'm feeling a little like down and off, there are things exciting me. Like I said, I have that improv show coming up. Marty and I have a cruise we're going on in January. Like there is stuff that I am super, super excited about. I just don't feel it right now. But if you are feeling it or you want to feel it, now you can listen to my inspiring, beautiful conversation with my dear friend, the pastry chef online, Jenni Field. Let's listen. Welcome back, Jenni. It's so great to see you.
Hey, Christine. Thank you for having me again. I'm always so grateful when you email and say, hey, do you want to be on this podcast? Yes, I do.
It gives me an excuse to talk to you. You're very welcome. I always enjoy our conversations, both the ones that we have before we record and after we record and the during recording part too. So yes, everybody listening, I get Jenni before and after and during. So I'm very, very fortunate. So Jenni, in your Facebook feed lately, I have been seeing things that are not food. What is going on?
Well, I've been doing food since 2007 online. And, it's a lot of work and a lot of recipe development, a lot of testing, a lot of all the things, having to become an expert in everything. And it really started after all those many years. It started to feel a bit like work. And, it was a bit of a grind. And, things in America right now are a little heavy. Mm-hmm. Regardless of where you are politically, things are weird. And so around the first of this year, I was like, I need something. I need something to do that's going to feed my spirit, feed my soul, feed my need to be creative. And what is that going to be? So I started wondering, and just kind of looking around and seeing what other people were doing, trying to get inspired. And my friend Nadine is a poet. She started writing poetry a few years ago, and now she's like getting published in different journals and stuff. And I was like, do I write poetry? And Nadine writes poetry. Maybe I can do that. And then I was like, no, I don't know that I do that. And then Facebook apparently heard me wondering these things and said, hey, here's a thing. It's a monthly subscription. It's called a Sketchbox. And you sign up you can get one, you can sign up for 3 months, you can sign up in perpetuity, whatever you want to do. And there's a basic box and a premium box. And so it's two different price points. It's like $30 and $40. And you sign up and every month they send you a new kit with like really high quality materials in it. And you get to watch videos on how to use them. And there's a little contest on Instagram that they have where you use the materials for that month, and there's a little hashtag, and you can maybe win something. So, it's like a little community. And I thought, maybe this is it. Maybe I art, and I just didn't know it. Mm-hmm. So, and I hadn't drawn anything or painted anything since freshman year of college. Yeah, so that would have been 1984, everyone. And so I ordered it and really enjoyed it and realized that while I was working with the art materials, that time just flew. Oh my gosh. And so I just began to draw and sketch. And then I began to sign up for some classes and online classes. There's and again, this is probably something that I saw on Facebook. There's an app called Sketchy, SKTCHY. And I downloaded that and I can take classes through that. And so then I started with watercolor and I have just gone from there. People are buying paintings from me, commissioning artwork for me. It's nuts. It is nuts, but I'm going with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I keep up with my fans. I love my Pastry Chef Online people. They're so supportive. And, I'm always sending my emails out, but these days I send not only recipes twice a week, but also my latest artwork and, tell people a bit about that. And I just did a giveaway for a painting and got to do a painting for one of my fans and mailed it off to her yesterday.
What a lovely idea.
So I'm just trying to see how I can maybe marry the art stuff with the food stuff. And maybe I start doing paintings of some of the photographs that I like that I've taken of my recipes. I mean, maybe I could do recipe cards with little paintings. I don't know. I mean, there's possibilities for overlap, but right now I'm just kind of digging, learning and playing and getting better. And, so
that is so fun and so inspiring. And I actually love that you're not hiding that from your audience. You have this like very vibrant community of people, especially on Facebook, who love you and have loved your recipes for so long. And I think you could have made a choice to just keep giving them recipe stuff and do this other thing on the side that you share with your friends and family. And maybe you go to a flea market and sell things or whatever, but not like share there, but that you've gone and done that. I mean, yeah, I'm sure because they love you and they've always loved you. And so they're loving seeing this other side of you. I'm positive.
I've gotten some emails from some of them saying, keep doing this and keep sharing your art and you're just getting better and better and better. And so it's been really, really heartening to get those emails. I do know, I'm sure that I have lost some people because they're like, oh my God, what is she doing? Drawing pictures of donkeys. What? And that, that's fine. That's fine. If they're not, that's okay. But this is really, at least for right now, this is where my energy and my passion, and this is what I'm pouring my creativity into instead of, writing recipes. The recipes are all on the blog and they're all tested and they're great. And I'm fixing to make my cinnamon rolls tomorrow. So, I still do bake and cook, but, this is just really feeding me right now. And, the feedback that I'm getting from people who take the time to write or comment is that, it's really pretty inspiring. So why not? I feel like we all need some inspiration these days.
Absolutely. We can't just feed our bellies. We need to feed our soul, feed our creativity. All of that is so important. And I need to take this as my own reminder. I have stopped doing the crafting that I had been doing, and I'm not sure why.
Get back to it.
Yeah. We've probably talked about this before. I don't tend to do my own, like, from scratch creative projects. I like to do things that I can do with my hands while I'm listening to podcasts. So I knit, I do paint by numbers, and I do this like hand stitch art kit that I really like, but I haven't been lately. And I'm going to have to do some thinking about what has changed because it's been a few months since I've picked up any of those things. Weird.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something that I started because when I do my art, I'm working in a little cubby hole upstairs with one of the cats. And so I don't like see other people while I'm doing it, but I like other people. And I have a group of food friends locally who also like to do creative things. So I started a monthly thing at a cute little restaurant about a half an hour from here that's kind of convenient for everybody. People are coming from all over. We call it Art and Snacks. And we get together the third Wednesday of every month at this little restaurant. And we have snacks and then we do art. Everybody brings something. And like some people color, some people paint, some people draw. Somebody was doing collage one time. And we just, asked the restaurant, was it okay? And is there room for us to do this? They're like, it's fine. It's not super crowded during the middle of the day. So come on. So we get together at 1:30 and we're usually there till about 4-ish or so. And it's the best because it combines a social aspect with something that could be a really solitary thing to do. It's fun.
I love that idea. And you made me realize why I have not been crafting. Part of it, I used to belong to a monthly group, but no, I've been doing these improv classes they started in March and it's 3 hours every Sunday afternoon. And then we tend to go out with the people afterwards for food or drinks. And I actually think that when you give up or give 3 to 6 hours of your time every week, it gets taken from the other parts of time. So
that's a lot of time. But aren't you just having like a show or something? Did I just see that on Facebook?
Yeah. So I'm going to say that, Jenny, we're talking ahead of time to record this. When this goes live is going to be mid-December and is actually probably going to be just a few days before my level 4 show. So I will put a link to that in the show notes if it's happening. It should be. Yeah, I'm starting level 4 and the teacher for level 4, I'm so excited. Her name is Emily, something that starts with an F and I'm blanking. She specializes in musical improv. I don't think we're going to be delving hugely into that, but it is something I am so excited about.
I have loved watching you like through social media take these classes and stuff. It's the coolest. It really is.
It's been, I don't want to say life changing. That sounds a little bit bigger,
But it is. It changes your life.
it really
Yeah.
has. My confidence, and I get the last show that I did, the one that you were talking about, I get up on stage in front of, like, we sold out. Like, it was a packed crowd, and I was talking and doing my thing and like nervous, but not in the bad nervous way, in the adrenaline excitement way.
Right.
And I'm positive that if somebody had shown me a video of me doing that even 6 months ago, I would have said, that's not me. There's no way that would ever be me. So, yeah, no, it's been crazy.
Well, the power of yes and, right?
Yes. And yeah, accepting and giving up control.
Mm-hmm.
Other people get to have some control in these situations too. But no, back to, I really do. As you were talking about the painting, I actually miss that quiet time using my hands. And we have 2 weeks before my next class starts, and I'm going to devote some of that to knitting at least. That one's super easy for me to get back into. Well, so you are doing all of this art and watercolors and painting, but you also still are cooking and baking. Do you have a recipe to tell us about today?
I do. Since I know this is going to be happening a couple of weeks before Christmas,
Yes.
I wanted to share with you guys and your readers and your listeners podcast my Auntie Ev's Christmas trifle recipe. And I grew up thinking this was like the only way you could make trifle, because it's all I had ever had was this particular version of it. And it wasn't until I got to high school and somebody else said, "Oh, trifle, yeah, a big old bowl and blah, blah, blah." I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. You make it in a Pyrex. But anyway, Auntie Ev made hers layered with sherry soaked pound cake, her lemon pound cake, or sometimes just Sara Lee pound cake, raspberry jam, vanilla pudding, and then whipped cream on top. And she made it layered so you could slice it.
Oh.
It wasn't like big, deep in a bowl. It's only like maybe 2.5 inches tall.
Interesting.
You layer everything and you fit it in like a tiramisu kind of, fit everything in flat layers into a 9x13 or whatever size you're making. And so after it sits in the fridge for overnight, everything kind of oogies together and you can slice beautiful squares. And that's always how I had it. I didn't realize that people were just chunking, squares of cake randomly in a bowl and pouring different. I was like, that is just chaos and mayhem. I don't want anything to do with that. So that's the way my Auntie Ev made it. So, and you can do it like, I used to make it at the restaurant. I like fancied it up for the restaurant, but it's basically Auntie Ev's trifle. But so like, I guess you would make like a lemon sponge cake, layer it in with cream sherry, and then a nice thick layer of raspberry jam. I like the seeded kind just because I grew up with the seeded kind. But at the restaurant, we used to make raspberry jam and it had all the seeds in it. But store-bought raspberry jam is completely fine. That's always how we made it. And so 2 layers of pound cake, 2 layers of the sherry, 2 layers of the jam, and then vanilla pudding. Auntie Ev used to use mighty fine vanilla pudding in little boxes and then would add some extra milk so it would be a little thinner before it set, so it would go down in between the layers and kind of hold everything together. And then a flat layer about 3/4 of an inch thick of whipped cream. And then she would score, make little lines on top and put a half of a maraschino cherry in the very center of each little piece that was going to be a square. So it was like a very composed little trifle. It was not like a crazy deep bowl full of trifle, but I've made it both ways and it tastes exactly the same either way you make it. It's just that combination of that sort of sweet tart raspberry with a little bit of a burn from the sherry. And I make my pudding from scratch because I like homemade vanilla pudding. It's one of my favorite things. And it's just like that creamy, smooth, a little bit of earthiness from the vanilla, and then a really nice whipped cream. Sometimes I stabilize it with a little instant clear gel, so it holds its shape really nicely. And it's so simple, and it is so good. It is so good. I did not use it at the restaurant. I didn't use just straight cream sherry. I do a simple syrup and add sherry to to it, because otherwise it gets fairly alcoholic if you really want to, like soak the layers. But yeah, one of my favorite things. And when I go see my cousin, this is Auntie Eb's son. We're not related by blood, but we may as well be. I made it for them and they were so excited because they never think to make it for themselves. So I made it when we got together, I think last year sometime. And it was it's one of those flavors like from childhood that is just so delightful. And of course you could make it with any kind of jam you wanted and any kind of cake you wanted. It's just a trifle. It's just a little something, right? Thrown together. But it's that particular combination is really special to me.
So is the bottom layer of that, as you were saying, like when I think of trifle, it's this like torn up cake. Do you leave that bottom layer of cake in its whole cake shape? Like you actually could bake it in the, I don't remember what you said, 9 by 13, like do a 9 by 13 cake.
No, I would always bake the cake separately or get like a loaf style cake. And then I trim off, like if you get a Sara Lee, I always trim off the brown part on the top and just save that as a treat for me. And so I'd have like a real regular shape to then cut little tiles and fit them in really tightly together in one layer that's maybe, again, about 3/4 of an inch thick. One flat layer, drizzle with as much sherry as you want, and then a nice thick layer of the jam. Repeat that whole process, and then add the pudding, refrigerate it till it's, set and overnight, and then the layer of whipped cream. And I usually will, instead of icing it with the whipped cream, I might just do like a swirl of it or something on top of the piece. But I generally still like to cut it in the little squares like Auntie Eb used to do.
I love this.
But yeah, it surprisingly holds together really well.
Yeah, no, that's intriguing. And it also reminds me, you probably know more about this than I do because I don't necessarily know anything about baking history, but I do know what I was eating when I was a child. And these layered desserts, I think of them, it's a Canadian word, dainties, dainties for little, usually homemade slices and these sorts of cakes that we would cut them. So I imagine your Auntie Eb's trifle cut into squares and then put into a muffin liner on the tray, so that if you wanted to move it to your plate, you would just pick up these muffin liners. Does that sound familiar at all? Sometimes I'm talking Canadian and I don't know.
You absolutely could do that with Auntie Eb's. You cut little squares, you could absolutely stick it in a little cupcake liner. I don't know, I think of sort of petit-fours maybe as a little similar to that. My mom and I made petit-fours for my best friend's bridal shower 800 years ago. And it was a nightmare because it was all this sticky, weird, glazy stuff and, trying to cut cake in diamond shapes. We didn't have little cutters or anything. We were sticking to the floor. It was a nightmare. So never do that again. But I would absolutely make Auntie Eb's trifle, cut it in little squares and put it in a little muffin cup.
There was a definite trend. The one that I'm picturing the most was layers of, I'm going to ask my mom because she's going to know. Mom, if you're listening, you can just tell me. My Auntie Lorraine used to make it for sure. It was with pistachio pudding, a layer of pistachio pudding, a layer of something, whipped cream and cream cheese probably mixed together, or just the whipped cream, maybe a cookie crust on the bottom, not cake. And there was another one that had a chocolate pudding layer. There was just a trend of layered desserts made in cake pans that you then cut into squares, and they often featured pudding and whipped cream.
Would a Nanaimo bar count as one of those?
Well, I mean, that's definitely a layered dessert. That's, yes, and that's very, very Canadian. And it would have found itself on one of these dainty trays inside of a muffin liner for sure.
Whether it wanted to or not.
Yes, it would definitely be on that tray. That one's stable enough that it might not need the muffin liner. The muffin liner tended to, I think, to be for something that
to hold together.
So you could kind of like a cookie tray. Imagine a cookie tray, and if you wanted to have some things on there that you can't easily pick up with your fingers, you use the muffin liner. But yeah, Nanaimo bars would have been on there too. But there was just I'm positive when we hang up, I'm gonna go and look this up. If in the 80s layered pudding desserts were a thing.
The pistachio thing makes me think that sounds vaguely familiar to me. So now I'm looking up layered pistachio dessert. But this is the picture picture?
Oh, that looks very similar. Yes, yes.
Yeah, this is from the Recipe Rebel, and it's layers of whipped topping, pistachios and pecans as the topping, evaporated milk and pistachio pudding
Oh,
for the
that
pistachio.
sounds right.
I don't know, man. But, and what is this dough?
Oh, on the
Oh, it's
bottom.
like a nut dough. Oh, it's almost like a wedding cookie
Oh.
dough with ground up pecans with butter and sugar and flour. So that sounds to me like a Mexican wedding cookie that you bake as a layer, and then you add a couple of different layers of pistachio ness, and then on top nuts and stuff.
Yeah, no, that
Layered
sounds good.
pistachio dessert.
I'm on your Auntie Eb's trifle cake. We often do a trifle for Christmas with berries and the more traditional to me.
Like in like a deep trifle.
Yeah, that you scoop. We often, I don't know how this happened, but it's it's the Venn diagram of things that Marty and both of my kids and I all like and would eat for dessert ends up because we all have different tastes for dessert, ends up being a berry trifle. And I'm thinking that I could play with it as this more cake style with some pudding in there, and I think that they would love it.
Yeah, you could probably, like, if now and it never occurred to me before now, but you could bake the cake like a lemon sponge cake as a round and soak the poo out of it with sherry and thick raspberry and yeah, absolutely. And custard in the center and heck, maybe even, like if you want to be super fancy, like entremet fancy, you could even take that round cake, stick it in a mold that's bigger and encase it in the pudding.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I mean, that would be like utmost of fancy. That's like restaurant fancy, but you could. Or you could just, ice it with stabilized whipped cream and call it a day.
Always so many options. Jenny, can you let people know where they can go online to see your wonderful recipes and also your artwork? Where should we send them?
Well, if you want to see my artwork, you can follow me, my personal page on Facebook. I'm Jenni Field on Facebook. So you're welcome to come and just follow my profile. I'm sharing art all the time. And I also share some on my Facebook page. But honestly, as far as the Pastry Chef Online Facebook page, I don't do a lot. The reach is so, it's really hard. It's just hard to get cast a wide net these days. And I just get better traction. And even though it's not stellar, it's way better than Facebook with my newsletter. So mostly, you can come to pastrychefonline.com, sign up for my newsletter if you want to. You can always unsubscribe after a couple of times if you don't like what I'm posting. But I send 2 emails out a week and you get 4 recipes. Plus there's a mystery link, which is usually the most clicked link. I started doing that a few months ago, like, ooh, mystery link. Could be mine, could be a friend's. You will not know if you don't click it, and people just can't help themselves. And so that's like, they're like, I have to see what it is. And so I try to share the love with my blogging friends and, grab links that kind of fit maybe with the theme or maybe not. It's a mystery link. It could be anything. Mystery. And then I usually share a couple of pieces of artwork. And I also have a section I just started doing like 3 months ago about AI and the impact that has had on blogging and on social media and how it can be really bad and really deceiving. And the folks who are using it by and large are just trying to make money and do not care whether your recipe works or not. So I've been trying to raise awareness with my readers about that because, the regular folks who don't have their finger on the pulse of how things are going on the internet don't have any idea how it gets misused. So
yeah, no, it's so true. I mean, I've been telling friends and family, and actually I've mentioned it on this podcast too, that when you're searching for things online these days, either searching specifically, like if you're baking something, put the name Jenni Field in your search term and make sure that you find yourself on Pastry Chef Online. And, I say put Christine Pittman or Cook the Story in when you're searching for your recipes. Or just be double checking that they are sources you trust, because especially on Facebook, when I'm like randomly doom scrolling on Facebook, the number of times that I see things, I'm like, that's not a real picture. And then I go and look at the recipe and the recipe is for something completely different. Like the whole thing is very, deceitful and, taking away from the fun experience, certainly.
It's the exact opposite of what social media is supposed to do, which is supposed to bring people together. And what it does is it has the effect because people try these recipes because they think, oh, well, this is just a nice lady on Facebook sharing this. Look how beautiful that is. And ending up 90% of the time disappointed. And so now they're mistrustful and cynical. Thanks, social media. So yeah, it's a big problem. And the most recent one I've seen, you can take like a still image and make like a weird 5-second AI video from it. And it's usually some hand sticking a fork or a spoon into the thing. And AI doesn't know how food moves when you put a spoon into it. So the resulting weird video is always very unsettling because like if my cake is going to move that way, I'm going to make sure that I call an exorcist and I'm going to throw it away. So yeah, they're very unsettling little videos.
Absolutely. Well, I love that you're including that in your newsletter, informing people, letting them know the dangers, the cautions they should be taking with this. It's very important.
I think that it is too strong to say danger because especially with how food prices are these days, you don't want to buy a bunch of stuff and then have it just fall flat. A recipe for some kind of cake that called for a teaspoon of flour. I'm like, you people suck. I mean, why? Why would you eat? Why would you do that? And, and poor trusting normal Facebook user just says, oh, that sounds wonderful. Let me get out all of my stuff and let me go buy X, Y, and Z at the store. And then they have to end up throwing away a whole thing. So
yeah, no, it's true. Well, and even I think, people know this. They're listening. You all are great cooks. I know if you're listening to the show, but like you read a recipe and it can look right. Like not the way too small amount of flour, but it can look right. But if it hasn't actually been tested, there's 2 cups of flour, sure. 1 cup of sugar, sure. And then it actually doesn't work because the balance was off,
Or they left out a leavening. I've seen that before. And then there's like the lazy words in AI images that aren't even words, just random letters. It's amazing. So the more I try and find examples to show my readers, the more like annoyed I get by the whole. It's so just nefarious and nasty. And it breaks trust with people that you should be trying to build trust with. That's the whole reason we're out here to begin with, is so that our readers, our fans can trust us and can trust what we say. And as soon as I tell them something that is not true, it's gone.
Yeah, no, it's so true. Well, Jenni, this has been lovely as always. I
always enjoy talking to you.
I always love talking to you too. Thank you so much.
It was my pleasure. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Antieve's trifle. You've got to make it. I love the idea of this trifle done in a pan so you can slice it. It's brilliant. It totally does remind me of like tiramisu, but with a different flavor profile. Obsessed. And of course, we all know Jenni is amazing. And if she turned her aunt's trifle into this recipe on her site, it is going to be spectacular. And we all have to try it. I will maybe give it a try. I am not doing extra things. Remember, walks and water. That's all I'm focused on. No, really, I will be doing some form of Christmas baking at some point, and this is on my possible list for sure. Make sure you are following Jenni online, pastrychefonline.com, and go to facebook.com/pastrychefonline. I am looking. Jenni has beautiful Christmas paintings that she's done recently. Go and be inspired. There's delicious food, there's beautiful paintings, all the things Jenni has created. Wonderful. Okay, this is where I tell you what I am cooking this week. I am not cooking anything this week. I am recovering a little bit with my back still and getting ready for that little trip to visit my family. Very excited. I don't know if I've done this before, not in a very long time. It's just me going on my own. My kids have exams. Marty is dealing with finals at the university also. So I was just like, you know what? I have a few days. I'm going to go. And I already know it's going to be amazing. The last time that I was on my own with my parents is when we were in Florence together, the three of us. And it is one of my favorite memories ever. And so I know that spending time with them is going to be a beautiful experience. And I'm also seeing my brother and his family. So it's going to be great. Just a few days. So I'm doing that, and I am not cooking for the websites. I can tell you though, there is something exciting happening with the Cook the Story world. It's been in the works for a little while, but it is going live this week. It is a special series on social media, or actually it is two special series on social media. You know, we all know that this time of year is super busy and super crazy. And I was thinking about like, which recipes do I have that can help people the most? Like, what are we looking for? And I settled on two types of recipes. So there are the things you need if you're invited to a potluck or friends are coming over last minute, that kind of thing. And that is where I gravitated towards dips. Everybody loves a good dip. And if you've got a few great, easy recipes in your back pocket, you are ready to go through this holiday season. So for that, I am doing 12 days of dips. There are 12 dip recipes with reels, and this is the new thing with me talking about them, my own face on social media right there. I don't do that very often. Very rarely have I ever. I'm doing it for 12 days of dips, but I'm also doing it for 12 days of roasts. At the same time, I'm running the second series. That's because as we're thinking about those like last minute and potluck things and people coming over and a great dip, we're also looking ahead to planning our holiday meals or holiday dinners. And the thing that people often come to me most for are roast recipes. And it's because we don't do them very often. And so they're a little bit intimidating, a little bit challenging. And so I am doing 12 days of roasts with really perfected roast recipes. There are some turkey recipes, there are pork recipes and beef recipes, and then a bunch of gravy recipes as well. So I have got you covered on the dips and the roasts. And those are two series that I'm running at the same time on Instagram, Facebook, and on TikTok. I am Cook the Story in all of those places. So please follow along, comment, and enjoy. I think they're really fun. They're very informative, and I think you're going to get some really great ideas there. So make sure you're following me on social media, Cook the Story, and you're going to get all of those recipes. As to what's new on the sites, only one thing this past week, and it's just a little like meal prep, super helpful way to get through these days. It is a recipe for instant pot chicken drumsticks that has some very special tips for how to cook them so that they're better than most instant pot chicken drumsticks. That is what I will say about that. That is new on thecookful.com. Okay, I am going to wrap up and then I'm going to drink a glass of water and go for a walk. The weather here in Central Florida has dropped. It is like 65 degrees Fahrenheit today. For the Canadians out there, that's like a little bit over 16 degrees Celsius. So it's not like cold, but it's colder than it has been. And I'm going to put on a sweater and go for a walk as promised. Walk and water. That is my mission. I hope that you are taking care of yourself out there. This is a tough time of year for everyone. Fun, beautiful, wonderful, but also exhausting and overwhelming quite often. So drink a glass of water, go for a walk, or just take a deep breath, or paint something. That's a great idea. We'll learn from Jenni. Paint something, make something, build something, or maybe watch a stand-up comedy show or take in some improv because a good laugh always helps as well. Thank you for listening. I'm Christine Pittman from cookthestory.com, thecookful.com, the all-new chicken cookbook, cookfor2.us, and this podcast recipe of the day. I hope you have a great weekend. Let's get cooking.